What's happening, my friends? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. Now, as usual, before I get started, let me give a shout out to the JBT community. It's just boxing talk. We're a group of people who just love to talk boxing. And we're always looking for others to join us. And you don't have to have a podcast. The only requirement is you just have to love to talk boxing. That's all. Mike Mazik. What's up, Mike? Hardcore Boxing News. What's up, Jay? Salute to everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cast Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the life and career of Carlos Monzon. How's everyone doing this Friday afternoon? You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian. And that's me, your friendly neighborhood box historian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. This Friday, got a card tonight, everybody. Yeah, Friday night boxing. And King Carlos Monzon is the profile today. Well, we had that Friday profile Wednesday. This is another one. But in personal life, it's just had a tumultuous personal life. King Carlos did, yeah. Killed one of his wives. Threw her off in a balcony. Yeah, went to prison. Died while he was in prison. Well, he wasn't in there. He had got a weekend furlough and he was on his way back and had a car accident and died. But we're going to get into it. Yeah, it's another good one. Watch, after you hear this one, you're going to be saying, wow, we had some wild profiles this week. Because remember the one Wednesday? Tyrone Everett was killed by his girlfriend. Life cut short. Kind of a different personal life outside the ring. And Carlos, Tyrone is nothing compared to, wait till you hear about King Carlos' life. Wow. So we always get into it about 2:30. But everybody okay this Friday afternoon, right at another weekend. Another Friday night card. It's a bunch of them we've had this year. We don't have anything tomorrow. I didn't see anything for Saturday. But, I guess they say after that big Face of Boxing card last weekend, we need a week to recover. But it's coming back in style next week. Bam Rodriguez and Juan Francisco Estrada. Talked about that fight yesterday. Yeah. Bam is going back up to 115 and attempt to win a title that he once held. Because, those classes are only like 3 pounds apart. So, they're always jumping up and down through them. And, Bam is going back up and challenge Juan Francisco. Juan Francisco has been out of the ring since 2022. The trilogy against Chocolatito in December 2022 was the last time Juan Francisco's been in there. And of course, Bam was in there in December 2023 in unification against Sonny Edwards that he won. Yeah. I guess he still has his belt. And today, the 70s had so many great champions. Like I told you, 95% of the guys that were champions in the 70s is in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And they always say 70s was the golden era of the heavyweights. It was, but it was really just a great era for boxing altogether. And after the profile, I got like 9 or 10 champions from the 70s that we're going to do a brief profile on today. All non-heavyweights, Since they say the heavyweights, the 70s was the golden era of the heavyweights. I'm going to look at some guys and prove to you how great boxing was altogether. We're going to look at about 10 champions from the other weight divisions, because I got a light heavyweight on there. Other than heavyweight in the 70s. 10 guys. All Hall of Famers. All former champions. like Jose Napoli. He was middleweight in the 70s. No, welterweight, excuse me. And he was champion for like 5 years straight. Won the belt in 1970 and didn't relinquish it until 1975. Now he lost one fight in that stretch, but that was when he went up to middleweight and challenged, guess who? Carlos Monzon. So Jose lost that one fight, but back down there welterweight, nobody could beat him. And that's how the 70s was, man. Roberto Duran, of course, King Carlos, who we're going to talk about today. Esteban de Jesus, Alexis Arguello, Salvador Sanchez, Wilfredo Gomez, all fought in that one decade. All Hall of Famers, all former champions. Yeah. Not to mention Lupe Pintor, Alfredo Escalera. Remember, he was the one that got the gift decision against Tyrone Everett in their title fight in 76. But he got a gift decision that night, but that's not saying Escalera wasn't a great fighter. He just couldn't handle Tyrone that night. But Escalera was a very good fighter. Mm-hmm. Yes, Alfredo Escalera was, yeah. Champion from the 70s. Junior lightweight. No, featherweight. Down in the lower weight classes, yeah. And so we're going to be focused on the 70s today since we're talking about Carlos Monzon. But how's everybody? Ready for the weekend? Well, if you're not ready, you better get ready because it's here again. Yeah. Just waiting on a few more people to arrive in the building. They're coming. I think a lot of people know about my 2:30 start now, and they wait till around 2:30 to show up. Always get a little influx right around 2:25. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. You might would be here now, but it's all good because they're here eventually. You know. There's Bruce Gas, boxing, jazz, and more. What's up, Bruce Gas? I know Bruce Gas knows about that tumultuous personal life Carlos Monzon had. Yeah. The man beat his women. Like I told you, he killed one of his wives, threw her off the balcony. And then guess what? Fell off behind her. But she died. He only injured his shoulder. You know, I guess that's the difference between thrown and just falling. But yeah, I think it was the second floor. But yeah, he got 11 years in prison for it. But he had done 5 when he was killed. How can you murder somebody and then get furloughed for a weekend? That's crazy, man. And remember the lady that killed Tyrone Everett Wednesday? She only got 5 years. And then Carlos killed his wife. He got 11, only served 5. He was getting furloughed on weekends. A murderer. Convicted murderer getting furloughed to go home to see his family. The woman he killed, she can't never see her family again. So nah, I don't agree with that. But it happened. We're going to hear all about it. Very interesting profile today. And Carlos fought at middleweight. Him and Hagler never met up because Carlos, I guess when Hagler was really becoming into prominence, Carlos was going out of boxing. Because, you know, Hagler really became prominent like the late 70s, and Carlos was early to middle. So, yeah, they didn't, they were at different parts of their careers. They never met up. That's a good dream fight, though. Wow. I don't know who would win that one. Because Carlos brought that pressure, too, you know. Yeah. That would be a good dream matchup. Carlos Monzon and Marvin Hagler. I would like to ask Coach Kenny about that one. Because he's pretty good about talking about old fights. Yeah. And I think I would love to ask Coach Kenny about that. Carlos Monzon versus Marvin Hagler. Wow. Okay. He says Hagler was high risk, low reward at the time. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, because that was a young Hagler then. Yeah. And an older Carlos. Yeah. Very high risk, very low reward. Good point, Bruce Gas. Yes. Yeah, but then at the end, I told you I got some champions from the 70s. You know, all those guys, man, were legendary. Of course, the legendary Four Kings really. Well, they had all their fights in the '80s, but all of them began fighting in the '70s. But they didn't fight each other until the '80s. I forgot. I didn't even say Wilfred Benitez. Yeah, and Esteban de Jesus. He uh he was a gym mate of both Puerto Rican. He was a gym mate of Wilfred Benitez, and he was trained by Wilfred's father, Gregorio Benitez. Yeah, sure was. I didn't say Esteban de Jesus or Wilfred Benitez. When you say '70s, you got to think of them two guys. You know, Wilfred, the youngest ever, 17. I believe he was also the youngest at junior middleweight, 22. So yeah, he got. And when he was winning the junior welterweight at 17, some of his high school classmates were actually at the fight watching it. So hey, you might say, well, you might be the quarterback of the football team, but I'm a world champion boxer. How about that? You know, still in high school. Yeah. So I was like, Wilfred would have the bragging right, get most of the girls there. You know. So yeah, he's the quarterback of the football team, but I'm a world champion, professional boxer. Sitting up in class, bragging about who he fought last night when he won the title, and some of his classmates were at the fight. Mm-hmm. And John Henry Lewis, the profile last week, was in a similar situation. He didn't win a title that young, but he was still in high school when he started. He was 14 when he started, but yeah, still in high school. That's why he fought most of his early fights in Arizona, where he was from, because he was still in high school. You know, after that fight, he had to go home and get into bed. He had to get him to go to school the next day. You know, that's crazy, ain't it? Professional boxer still in high school. And we know about a couple of them, Wilfred Benitez and John Henry Lewis. Well, boxing, the greatest sport of them all. We know about no NFL players still in high school, or NBA players still in high school, or NHL players still in high school, but we had boxers that did it. Yeah, the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it and can't get enough of it. And it's one-on-one. You know, Thomas Hill. What's up? Hashtag JBT Thomas Hill. What's going on, bro? Good to see you today. It's profile day. The life and career of Carlos Monzon. I was talking about this great sport of boxing, man. You know, it's one-on-one. You don't get to say, Coach, I'm tired. Send so-and-so off the end of the bench and here, give me a few minutes. No, you got to wait till that round, and you don't get to call timeout during the round and get a breather. No, you get your breather in that minute in between, and then you get on back out there. And if you can't come back out there, then that's it. You lose. Well, that's the greatest sport of them all. You're in there by yourself. Now, your team can shout instructions and give you advice between rounds and stuff, but once their round is going, once their bell rings, they get out and sit out there and watch. It's just you against the other man or the woman in there. That's why it's the greatest sport of them all. Okay? Depending on anybody else. Like, perfect example, NBA Finals just ended. Luka Doncic for Dallas had a great series, man. Had a couple double-doubles, had a triple-double. But guess what? He lost because Kyrie didn't show up and the other teammates didn't show up. And Boston was a team effort, you know. 4 or 5 players averaging in double figures. Boxing, you don't have to worry about that. It's just you. You don't have to worry about a teammate not showing up, ruining it for you. It's just you. All on you. That's what makes it the greatest sport of them all. Okay? One-on-one. Boxing. Did I say that's why we love it and can't get enough of it? Yeah. Let's see. Everybody's slowly dwindling in. We're going to start in about 5 minutes. Yeah. Beautiful up here. Got the raffle coming up for the big 55-inch color TV. $10. I got 2 of them. I paid way more than $10. But it's got to be a winner. June 13th. Don't have to be present to win. Send $10 per chance now. You don't have to just send 10. Enhance your chances and send like 200. You get 20 chances. Or send $2,000. You get 200 chances. You'll probably win it. Yeah. But at least send 10. You got your ticket yet? Send 10 and get a chance. We got some people with like Big Dre got like 4 chances. It'll probably be somebody with 1 chance in there that went to. So that's all it takes. $ JBT Network, all caps, 1. That's where you send the 10 to. And you're in. That's all you got to do. You are in. Nothing else. And just wait for us to notify you. You don't have to be present. It's going to be drawn at the meet and greet July 13th in Pennsylvania. But you do not have to be present to win. You will be notified. Then wait for the truck to get there with your TV. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do? Salute. Just Do Boxing coming up at 4 p.m. The voice of the streets. I told you about that JBT. We got everything. We got Just Do Boxing, who will let you know about everything going on in boxing nowadays, and a great analyzation of it, balance, give you both sides of everything going on in boxing, okay? Then we got a hangout where you just go and hang out and talk boxing. And guess what today is? Friday night hangout. BYOW, bring you on whatever. Be ready to laugh, cry, find out what you had in the pots today for dinner. Friday night hangout. Tonight, 8 o'clock. And then we got a history show going on now. We got one of the biggest channels in these YouTube streets, the Mighty Rise Podcast. We got a breakdown show at McQueen and Thomas Hill where they just break down all things about a fight. You'll see things going on in a fight. You've been watching boxing 40 years and you didn't even know what's going on in that ring, and you see them two brothers break it down. You haven't watched the fight until you watch one after a Casual Corner breakdown. You just haven't. And we added some new channels. But we got BN Boxing News too. Great post-fight analysis. Just Do Boxing also calls fights too. Yeah, great fight calls. And we got BVO Boxing TV. Just joined us, another fire channel. He does post-fight too. Prison Talk with Tommy. What a story. 20-something years in the New York prison system. And now he's a successful personal trainer with his first child on the way. What a story he has to tell. An Angry White Man. I believe that's the night. I don't know what time, because Old School was talking about after the hangout, right? Because 7, they got to go off at 8 because the hangout coming in at 8, right? That's how we do it over here at JBT. That, you know, every day at 4, I'm gone. Well, it wouldn't be no use to be staying on no way, because when the voice comes on at 4, everybody gonna leave here anyway, so I might as well get off. But yeah, so Old School was talking about 10 after the hangout and rise. That way they don't have to, you know, they can go on and on and on. You know, if they get a good show going, they don't have to drop off after that hour, which is a good idea. I was telling Old School 10 o'clock. Yeah. So I'm not sure, but I know it's tonight. I think. Yeah. It was 7 o'clock last Friday. But yeah, those are the Friday shows, and we are growing of the JBT, Just Boxing Talk. Oh man, how could I forget the fashion? Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion with Remo. I believe the second season kicked off Wednesday. Yeah, Friday. I told you we had everything. A fashion show. Where else? In this YouTube street. And he knows his fashion. Mm-hmm. Now he knows fashion 10 million times more than me, but I done disagree with him on a couple of those fashion or fashions one time sometimes, man. Like that guy had that big yellow looked like a rain suit on. He called that fashion. I call clashing on that. Yeah. Yeah, that looked like a rain suit. That bright yellow outfit, you know. And I'm brown skin. I can't rock the bright yellow. So yeah, I call clashing on that. But yeah. But we got a hashtag Let's Talk Fashion with Rebo, 10 a.m. every Wednesday. Yeah. And we got a card tonight too. I'm gonna touch on that real fast too. It's not a bad card at all, man. I was looking at it. Yeah, not bad at all. We got it's Rafael Espinoza making his first title defense. Remember, he lifted that belt up off of Robesi earlier this year, I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah. They tried to rob Espinoza. They was down there in Florida. I think Robesi lives in Florida. Cuban background. And man, it took forever to hand the cards in. And I heard they made some kind of announcement, right? Because it was for the WBO belt and it was in Florida. They said something like the Florida State Athletic Commission is conferring with the WBO. I'm like, uh-oh, they're getting ready to get you, Rafael. But they couldn't do it because Rafael got that knockdown in the 12th round. It would have been hard to rob him. But if he hadn't got that knockdown in the 12th round, they was going to get it. And I don't think he needed it. It was a good fight, but I think Rafael pulled it out. And they gave it to him. They got it right. But they tried to take it. But I would have loved to see the rematch. Guys don't do that anymore nowadays, man. You know, the champion give you a shot, good close fight like that. Back in the day, you always did the immediate rematch, man. Well, 9 times out of 10, you did the immediate rematch. But nowadays, they just go in the other direction. You know, I thought sure Robesi was going to get a shot back at it, but no. Espinosa's fighting Chirino tonight. What is Chirino's first name? I wrote it down. Okay. I can't even read my own handwriting. Sergio Chirino. Yeah. And he's going up against Espinosa in his first title defense. Yeah. And Chirino might win it, so Robesi is just out in the cold. What is that, 126? Yeah. Nick Ball just became a champion there. And then these guys don't want to go anywhere near the other champions. Back in the day, I'm champion. You got a belt in my division. I want that. Me and you got to get it on. You ain't going to be running around in my division calling yourself no champion. I'm the champion, right? But nowadays, they don't mind. You know, all 4 of us can be, well, all 16 of us can be champion in this division. And a guy will call another guy out and he just ignores him. Call him the P word, you know, like Matthias calls all of them. Just ignore him. Yeah, I'm that. I'm a pussy. Okay. Yeah, you got it right. I don't want to fight you. But Liam Perro got the job done Saturday. Robesi promised the knockout. I mean, not Robesi. Matthias promised a knockout if you get the rematch. But Matthias, you was just in there Saturday. Why didn't you do the knockout then? Not worrying about you promising one in a rematch. You just had your chance Saturday. You couldn't do it. So, come on, man. But yeah, we're going to talk about this card real quick. Not real quick, but, you know, briefly. Yeah. There's some good people on there. Troy Osley, Floyd Diaz. Abraham Nova's on there. Yeah. Alberto Gonzalez. Good young fighter. Top rank card, right? Yeah. Always see some good young guys when you're dealing with top rank. The Bob Father. Yeah. He's got him over there. Say he don't do much with them. After he has them a while, but yeah, but the headliner, the main event is like I was saying, Rafael Espinosa versus Sergio Chirino. Espinosa is making his first title defense after taking that belt off of Robesi. He's 24-0 with 20 knockouts. That's a pretty good knockout rate. I was meaning to figure that out, but I never did. Never did. See if I can do it right quick. I know it's right around 90%. Maybe 80. 24 times 8. Yes, 80 something. 80. Oh, 85, something like that. But it's in the 80s. Pretty good knockout rate. And yeah, he's a 30-year-old volume puncher. Making his first title defense against Chirino from Mexico. This is Chirino is 29. This is his first fight in the United States. Yep. Just one loss, and that was to 22-1. I just looked at it. I can't remember. It was another champion though. Yeah. But that's the main event. Rafael Espinoza versus Sergio Chirino. Then the co-main is Andre Cortez and Abraham Nova. Yep. Cortez has won his last 5 fights. Since he tied with Top Rank, he's unbeaten. And of course, Nova is coming off of that loss in February to O'Shaquie Foster. Nothing to hang your head about losing to O'Shaquie, but this is Nova's first time back in the ring since then. Then we got Troy Isley versus Javier Martinez. They have a history, both undefeated, both 12-0, but Martinez has 1 draw. And they met 4 times in the amateurs, and guess what? It's 2-2. So they break the tie tonight at the professional ranks. And they didn't wait no long time either. Just 12 fights in. They resuming their rivalry. Maybe we can get Keyshawn and Andy to jump right back in there soon. Because Troy Isley and Javier Martinez ain't waiting. 2-2 in the amateurs and both 12 fights in. Well, Martinez is 13 and 12-0, 1 draw. Isley 12-0. And they say, let's settle this thing, man. So that we will see tonight. Floyd Diaz on the card. He's going to make us a veteran fighter. Floyd is 11-0. Francisco Pedraza has like 31 fights. Going up against Floyd. Good test for Floyd. Damian Zamora going up against Jose Antonio Mesa. Zamora's 12-0. Mesa's 9-9. It's a test for Zamora. Another young fighter. I told you Top Rank has those young. And then Steven Navarro, this is his second fight. He won his debut. He's 1-0. He's going up against Juan Pablo Mesa. They must be brothers. He's 7-3. Him and Jose Antonio Mesa. Then finally, Alberto Gonzalez versus Conrad Martinez. 2 good young fighters. Gonzalez 8-0. Martinez 9-1. 2 good youngsters to round out the card. So pretty good card tonight. There's real prison talk right there with Tommy. I was just, the channel I was just telling you about. If you're not subscribed, get over there and subscribe to him. Melanin Queen 27 in the building. What's up, Melanin Queen? Good to see you today. It's Profile Day. Life and career of Carlos Monzon. We get ready to get started. I told you, 2:30, everybody will start showing up. I wait until 2:30. Give more of my friends time to get in here. Real prison talk with Tommy. I always write the names down. Great story. Nice, successful personal trainer now. First child on the way. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. Got some fire videos up already. Melanin Queen 27. One of the queens of the JBT. Love to see them come in. Yes. Okay, let's go with the show. I'm a poet, don't know it. Let's go with the show. Right, I'm gonna have to incorporate that into my opening some kind of way. Let's go with the show. Okay. What is the name of the show again? The Life and Career of Carlos Monzon. It's written right on the paper in front of me. I'm asking y'all the name of it. Crazy. Okay. The Life and Career of Carlos Monzon. Lonnie Lee will be here in a couple minutes. Al Bubba probably drop by. Okay. Now, Carlos Roque Monzon was born August the 7th, 1942 in San Javier, Argentina. Now, his nickname was Escopeta, which means shotgun in English. Okay, shotgun. That was his nickname. He was an Argentine professional boxer. He held the undisputed world middleweight championship for 7 years. Okay, he successfully defended his title 14 times against 11 different fighters. And he's widely regarded as not only one of the best middleweight in history, but also one of the greatest boxers of all time, pound for pound, Carlos Monzon. His nickname is Escopeta Shotgun, but I always call him King Carlos. Okay. Now he's known for his speed, punching power, and relentless work rate. He ended his career with a record of 87 wins, 3 losses, 9 draws, and one no contest. 59 by way of knockout. Had 100 fights exactly. 100 on the dot. King Carlos Escopeta / Shotgun Monzon. Okay? Now, all 3 of those losses he had were early in his career. And he avenged all 3 of them eventually, you know. And he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990, in the inaugural year. Yep. He was chosen by the Ring magazine in 2002 as the 11th greatest fighter of the last 80 years, and Ring also voted him as the best middleweight title holder in the last 50 years in 2011. That's high praise. He's had some great middleweights. Hagler. Yeah. So, as of January 2018, Monzon holds the second longest unified championship reign in middleweight history at 9 consecutive defenses. That's unified, not just defenses, unified defenses. Now, like I was telling you in the opening, he spent 5.5 years in prison for killing his wife, Alicia, by throwing her over a balcony. And we're going to get into that deep later on in the profile. And Carlos admitted that he had hit every single woman that he had ever dated in his life. Was a woman beater. Now, Monzon fought from the orthodox stance. He was 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he had a reach of 76 inches. And Argentinian fans, they just adored Monzon throughout his career. His glamorous and violent life was rapidly followed both by the media and by the Argentine people. They loved him down there in Argentina. Yeah. We're going to get into his life, though. It was very tumultuous. We're going to go deep into it. Now, he was accused many times of domestic violence by his 2 wives and many mistresses. He had way more mistresses than wives. Only married twice, but wow. He dated a lot of actresses, things like that, models. And he said he beat all of them, remember? And he was accused of beating up paparazzi. Those people that chase you around trying to get pictures, they deserve to get beat. They camped out in front of my house every day when I come outside. They will be one day, okay. But yeah, paparazzi, yeah. He's accused of beating them up too. Now, he was charged with killing his second wife, Alicia Muñiz, in 1988. That's what I was telling you. And he was sentenced to 11 years in prison. And he died in a January 1995 car accident while on his way back to prison after receiving a weekend furlough. Where did they do that at? A convicted murderer threw somebody off a balcony getting a weekend furlough. Come on, man, to go see his family and his children. That woman he threw up that balcony will never see her family and children again. That's crazy. You hear that? A convicted murderer getting a weekend furlough. Come on, man. That's crazy. Let's look at his early life. Okay? Yeah, I remember Carlos, King Carlos. That's why I call him King Carlos. Yeah, he was a bad man. He ruled middleweight in the early 70s. Yes, he did. We're going to talk about him. Yeah. He was middleweight champion for 7 years, Coach. King Carlos. Yep. I think he fought his first fight around 59. Came all the way up to the 70s. Yeah. One of those legendary champions from the 70s. Like I said, 95% of the guys who had a belt, ever had a belt in the 70s are in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. They say greatest era, golden era for heavyweights, but it was golden era for boxing, really. And at the end, we're going to touch on some of those champions, all non-heavyweights, because we know about the heavyweights. But, like Roberto Duran was in the 70s, Esteban de Jesus, Alexis Arguello, Salvador Sanchez, Wilfredo Gomez, Wilfred Benitez, King Carlos, Alfredo Escalera, all those guys in the 70s, all International Boxing Hall of Famers. Lupe Pintor, Juan Napoles, I can go on. Carlos Durante. The 70s is something else, man, like no other decade, like no other. And not just heavyweights. Now let's look at Carlos's early life. So I could go on and on just naming names from the 70s. Okay. But his early life. Now he was born in the city of San Javier, Argentina, to a family of Muscovy descent. Okay. His father was Roque Monzon and his mother was Amalia Ledesma. Now he was raised in poverty, had 12 siblings, and when he was 6 years old, his family moved to Barranquitas, which was a poor neighborhood of Santa Fe, the capital of Santa Fe province. And to help his family, Carlos quit school in the 3rd grade. Who does that? He quit school in the 3rd grade. Damn. Might as well just not went, right? And he got a few different jobs to help his family, such as he shined shoes, he sold newspapers, and he was a milkman. But I guess a milk boy, 3rd grader. That ain't no milkman, that's a milk boy. Now, as a youngster, he showed an interest in boxing at an early age, right? And when he was 16, he met Zulema Encarnacion Torres. That's the lady he had his first son, Carlos Alberto Monzon, with. And later, on May 11th, 1962, he married Mercedes Beatriz Garcia, nicknamed Pelusa. And they were so poor, they didn't even have enough money to buy the marriage license. Now that's bad. You want to get married, you can't even afford to get the license. That's bad, ain't it? That's poor. Wow, what do? You can't get married without the license, but you can't afford it. Common law. Just live together. But he married her, so they came up with something. And he had 3 kids with this lady: Sylvia Beatriz, Abel Ricardo, and Carlos Raul, who was adopted. Carlos Raul was adopted. And he had a son named Carlos by the other lady, too. He wasn't married to her, though. Okay, let's take a look at his boxing beginnings now. Boxing beginnings. Now, he had his first amateur fight on October 2nd, 1959. So I was wrong. I said he began his professional career in 59. But I knew it was something about 59. He began his amateur career in 1959, October 2nd. And his first fight ended in a draw. Now, 3 years later, after an amateur career of 73 wins, 6 losses, 8 draws, okay, he became a professional. His first professional fight was held on February 6, 1963, okay? Now, he knocked out his opponent in the 2nd round. No idea who that opponent is. He's going to start getting some names as he moves up later in his career. I can change the slides, though. There's some more Carlos. There's Carlos again. Where were we? Yeah. Then in 1966, he won the Argentine middleweight title, okay? In 1967, he won the South American middleweight title. So he slowly advanced. First he won the country, then he won the South American title, the continent, okay? After this success, Argentine boxing promoter Juan Carlos Lectoré pushed him into the international boxing scene by organizing fights with foreign boxers such as Douglas Huntley, Charles Austin, Johnny Brooks, Harold Richardson, Tommy Bethea, Benny Briscoe, That was a 10-round draw with Benny. Yeah, some of those names sound familiar. Manuel Severino and Eddie Pace. Some of the names he got in there in his career with early. D for the win. What's up, D for the win? Salute. That's right. Smash that like button, everybody. Let's salute D for the win. Wrote D's name and got my place marker right there. I know exactly where I'm at. Boom. And Eddie Pace. Ain't that where I ended at? Yeah. Now, world middleweight champion Nino Benvenuti. Let's call him. Let's go right on up the line. That's one of his wives. I don't know which one that is. No, not that. One of them. Yeah. He had many wives and many mistresses. Okay. Now there's Nino Benvenuti. Yeah. World middleweight champion Nino Benvenuti had long had a distinguished career that included championships in 2 divisions and 2 wins in 3 fights versus all-time great Emil Griffith. That's big. He had lost the year before to American Tom Bethea in Australia. But in the actual title fight in Yugoslavia, he avenged that loss. Nobody expected Monzon to beat Benvenuti in their title fight, you know, because Benvenuti was known, you know, all the things that all the people he beat Emil Griffith, and very few people even knew of Carlos Monzon. Yet Monzon applied his pressure from the start, and in the 12th, a right hand landed perfectly on Benvenuti's chin, and the title changed hands. And Monzon also beat Benvenuti in a rematch. You know, that first fight was May 31st. Okay. And he beat him in the rematch. This time, it only took him 3 rounds. Okay. And it was in Monte Carlo. Benvenuti's seconds threw the towel in the 3rd round. So now he's champion, okay? That was in 1970 when he won the championship, and the rematch was in May 1971. Now in 1971, Carlos became only the 2nd man to stop former 3-time world champion Emil Griffith. There's Emil. He was only the 2nd man to stop Emil Griffith, legendary International Boxing Hall of Famer Emil Griffith. Stopped him in 14 rounds. And then he beat him again. He outpointed him in the rematch over 15 rounds, but the second fight was closer. Now, before the fight, Monzon had to spar 3 rounds and run 3 miles in order to make the weight. And after the Griffith fight, he scored a win over tough Philadelphian Benny Briscoe. There's Benny Briscoe. I gotta keep track of this. My slide display. Okay, Nino Benvenuti, Emil Griffith, Benny Briscoe. That's Benny right there. His fight was after the Emil Griffith rematch. And he scored a win. Tough Philadelphian, Benny Briscoe. Okay. And this was a rematch. He had fought Benny before, and he had a shaky start. Okay. And Briscoe almost knocked him out in the 9th round, but Carlos got it together and pulled out the win. Okay. Next, he had a knockout in 5 rounds over European champion Tom Boggs. A knockout in 7 rounds over Cuban-Mexican Jose Mantequilla. Jose Napoli. I don't know why I put all that other stuff in there. He beat Jose. No picture of Jose. 10-round knockout of tough Tommy Licata of New Orleans at the Madison Square Garden. That was his first fight in the Garden. First and only fight in the United States. First and only fight in the States was at the Garden against Tony Licata. 10-round knockout. In 1975, he was stripped of the title for not defending it against mandatory challenger Rodrigo Valdez. Okay. I think that's him and Valdez. They did eventually fight. That's him and Rodrigo Valdez right there. But he got stripped for not fighting him when they wanted him to fight him in 1975. Okay. Now Valdez was a Colombian, and he won the WBC's title, while Monzon, the WBA, didn't strip him. He was undisputed, WBA and WBC at the time. The WBC title went to Valdez. Monzon kept the WBA. Then in 1976, they finally fought. And this time it was a unification fight for undisputed. Now Valdez's brother had been shot to death 1 week before the fight. And he didn't feel like fighting. But still the fight went on. Because they were both under contract, right? And it took place in Monte Carlo. And he handed Valdez a beating, winning a 15-round unanimous decision and unifying the world title once again. Because remember, he had him, then they had stripped him, gave the WBC to Valdez, so now he won it back. He's unified again, undisputed at the time, because all we had was the WBA and the WBC, remember. There's Let's Talk Fashion right there. What's up? Hashtag Let's Talk Fashion. That's Rebo, our fashion guy. Told you. JBT got everything, man. Everything. You name it. We got it. And we also got a raffle coming up for a big 55-inch TV. Okay. $10. $10 per ticket. That's all. Everybody got their ticket yet? Get it right now. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. What's up, Lonnie Lee? Lonnie Lee got his. Lonnie Lee's got several chances to win. Yeah. No, he got at least 2, maybe 3. I got to check the paperwork, but Lonnie Lee got a few chances. But salute, Lonnie. Made it to another weekend. Lonnie gets off at 2:30. But if you haven't got your ticket, send $10 to $ JBT Network, all caps, and then put the number 1 behind it. $ JBT Network, all caps, number 1. And you're in. That's all you got to do. And you're in it. I promise you, you're in it. And somebody's going to win it. A 55-inch color TV. I wanted it bad because I need a new one, but, it wouldn't look good if I won it, I'm the treasurer and everything, so it wouldn't look good. Like, Cash, did you really put $10 in there, or you just put your name in there like 20 times? So, no, I didn't get in it. Okay. But salute Lonnie Lee in the building. Now, let's get back to this. But, yeah, the drawing is July 13th, and you don't have to be present to win. You will be notified. Going to be a winner. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, but him and Valdez eventually fought, and he beat him, unifying the titles, becoming undisputed once again at middleweight. Unanimous 15-round beating. Yeah, he dominated. Then, facing a lack of good challengers, Monzon was offered a high purse to fight Valdez again. So he accepted it. The second fight was different, right? Monzon Valdez, whereas he dominated him over 15 rounds unanimously in the first one. Monzon Valdez 2 is a classic. Valdez came out roaring this time. In the second round, a right cross to the chin put Monzon on the deck for the first time in his career. And that was the only time. Yep, but Rodrigo Valdez, that's them on the screen, matter of fact. Yeah. That's Monzon on the left, Valdez on the right. Yeah. And he put Monzon down. That must be the second fight, by the way that picture looks too. Because Valdez dominated the first. No. Monzon dominated the first one. Valdez came out roaring in the second fight and dropped. Valdez came out roaring in the second fight and dropped Monzon for the first and only time in his career. Okay. And Valdez built the lead through the first part of the fight. But Monzon, however, mounted a brilliant comeback and outboxed Valdez for the last 8 rounds. And he got another unanimous decision. Yep. But this one was a lot harder than the first one. Okay. So he retained his undisputed status. And that was his 14th title defense right there. Mm-hmm. And remember, he's number 2 as far as unified title defenses at middleweight with 9. Okay. Because 14, the entire time he didn't have both belts, but 9 of them he did. So now here comes the exciting part now. His retirement. Okay. You needed 2. Okay, your coach has got like 3 chances too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Last time I checked. Yeah. 3 chances. Now, okay, let's talk. Remember the one we did Wednesday on Tyrone Everett? You thought that was stuff where his girlfriend killed him and they had the shit show in court and everything, and the transvestite was there and all. This one is way. Let me tell you here, this, but Carlos had a very tumultuous personal life. Retirement. Did I get through all the people? Yeah, I did. Now, he retired after the second Valdez fight defense. Okay, that was his last fight. First time dropped in his career, and his last fight. And his record was 87. He had 100 fights exactly. 87 wins, only 3 losses, 9 draws, and 1 no contest. That's 100 fights. And I believe he had 57 by way of knockout. Okay? 59 by knockout, 59 knockouts. And all 3 of his losses were on points early in his career. And he avenged all 3 of them. Now in 2003, he was named by the Ring magazine as one of the 100 greatest punchers of all time. As of May 2023, BoxRec ranks Monzon as the 5th greatest fighter of all time. Pound for pound. Ooh, that's a little high there. No, I don't know if I would have Carlos. BoxRec got it number 5 all time. A little high for me. I don't know. I don't think I would have Carlos in the top 10. Top 20. Yeah, but that's where BoxRec had it. He was always known for his overhand right, following his victory over Jose Napales when he got him out of there. And Angelo Dundee said about him, Monzon is a complete fighter. He can box, he can hit, he can think, and he is game all the way. That's high praise, Angelo Dundee. Okay? Now, before retirement in 1974, he starred in a movie called La Murray. It was a hit movie directed by Daniel Teneray. After retirement, he participated as an actor in a couple of Argentine movies, which were not very successful. And he also started some TV shows down in Argentina. And a monument to him stands in Santa Fe, Argentina, where he was born. Personal life. This way it gets interesting. Now, like I was telling you before, he was tremendously popular throughout his career, especially in Argentina, where he was from. During his fights in Argentina, everything would come to a standstill. There would be no traffic on the streets in the cities, and every TV set or radio in the country just about were tuned to Monzon's fight. Now, while filming La Murray, he met famous Argentine actress and model, Susana Jimenez. Do I have Susana? Yeah. It's Susanna right there. And she's 77 years old in this picture, believe it or not. 77 years old. He married her. Yeah. Well, he met her while they was filming the movie La Mary. They started a tumultuous relationship, which led to Monzon's divorce, because he was already married to somebody else, remember. Since then, his glamorous and sometimes violent life was vividly followed by the media. He toured Latin America and Europe with Argentine models and actresses. And while he was still a champion, a darker side of Monzon began to emerge. In 1973, he was shot in the leg by his then wife of 11 years, Mercedes Beatriz Garcia. That's not the one he murdered, though. But she shot him in the leg, with whom he had a daughter and 2 sons, one of whom was adopted. The shooting required 7 hours of surgery to remove the bullet from Monzon's leg. In 1975, he began a very publicized romance with Susana Jimenez, another actress. I think I got her. Yeah, that's Susanna right there. Started a relationship with her. In 1975, he began a very publicized romance with Susana Jimenez. They had previously met in the 1974 thriller La Mary. He met her in the movie too, directed by Daniel Teneray, where he met the other actress. With the two, they played husband and wife in the movie. And he hated paparazzi, who detailed his affairs. He went to Italy with Jimenez to participate in another movie, and started increasingly traveling with her to locations in Brazil and the rest of Latin America, allowing himself to be seen with her, although he was still legally married. Now, he was accused of domestic violence and of beating paparazzi too. Okay, they deserved to be beat. And he was repeatedly detained by the police. And this lady right here, Jimenez, she began wearing sunglasses, presumably to hide bruises from Monzon. And many times, paparazzi had to be hospitalized from the beatings suffered at the hands of Monzon. Told you paparazzi be outside my house. They out there now waiting to get a glimpse of me. But yeah, some paparazzi had to be hospitalized due to the beatings from Monzon. And they had unpredictable, violent outbreaks. During this period, Monzon and Mercedes Beatriz Garcia finally divorced, because he had relationships with at least those two actresses right there, remember, while he was married. So they finally got a divorce. And then this lady here, Susan Jimenez, she left him in 1978. After the breakup with her, he dated Swiss actress Ursula Andrews. Oh yeah, that's Ursula right there. Yeah, that's Ursula Andrews right there. Sorry, I had the wrong picture up there. He started dating her after he broke up with Susan. In 1979, he met Uruguayan model Alicia. I think this is the one he killed. Alicia Muñez, with whom he had an on and off relationship for many years. They eventually married and had a son together, Maximiliano Roque. But his violent behavior continued. On February 14, 1988, while vacationing in the resort city of Mar del Plata, after a heated argument, that's the one he killed, he beat Muñez. According to the investigation report, after this incident, after he beat her, he strangled her into unconsciousness, picked her up, and pushed her off the second floor balcony, killing her, during which he fell off the balcony behind her, injuring his shoulder. On July 3rd, 1989, Monzon was found guilty of homicide. He received an 11-year prison sentence. That's all. In January 1995, he was given a weekend furlough while still serving his term in prison, right? And he was given a furlough to visit his family and children. On January 8th, 1995, when he was on his way to return to the prison after the weekend passed, he and a passenger, Geronimo Domingo Matura, were killed instantly when their vehicle rolled over near Santa Rosa de Calchinas. This is in Argentina. The other passenger, Monzon's sister-in-law, Alicia Guadalupe Garcia, was injured. She didn't die. Monzon and another passenger was killed. His sister-in-law was just injured. Even in death, Monzon drew a crowd. Thousands sang Dale Campeon at his funeral, which means go champ. Carlos Monzon. Okay, we're going to talk about some of the other great champions from the, there's Ray Patterson. Salute, Ray. What's up, Ray Patterson? Straight out of New Jersey. Salute, RP. We're going to talk about some champions from the 70s, okay? Other than heavyweights, because they always say the 70s was the golden era of the heavyweights, but it was a golden era period, man, the 70s, yeah. All those great champions they had. Then we got like 9 or 10 of them. We're going to start with the Hands of Stone. Roberto Duran. Here's Roberto. Okay. Anybody else coming? I've been paying attention. Told me Monday, me and William Old School Durant is doing a profile on Max Baer. Old School has a lot of information on it. So, you know, he still was telling me he could give it to me, but I said, just come do it with me. That'd be better, you know. So yeah, that's Monday. No JBT panel discussion this week. Because that's the only time Old School is free. I'm not sure. I don't know if this. I haven't heard anything about it. They came on last Friday, Angry White Men, but I'm not sure if this one tonight or not. I know Old School was talking about coming on at 10 p.m. because they come on at 7, then the hangout comes on at 8. They would have to go right off. If they come on after the hangout and the rise, then they can stay on. They get going, rolling good, you know. Just keep it going. So that's a very good idea. So I'm not sure about the time. And he's not in here today. Okay. Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran had a 33-year career from 1968 to 2001. He held world championships in 4 weight classes, and he was one of the legendary 4 Kings. He is also the second boxer to have competed over a span of 5 decades. The first was Jack Johnson. Okay? 5-decade career. 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000. That is a long time. 33 years. Duran was known as a versatile technical brawler and pressure fighter, which earned him his famous nickname, Manos de Piedra, or more commonly, the Hands of Stone. The name was because of his formidable punching power. He had a total of 119 fights during his professional career, winning 103, 16 losses, and 70 knockouts. And Roberto was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame on June 10th, 2007. The Hands of Stone, Roberto Duran. Okay, just some champions from the 70s, since we got a little time, and they always talk about the 70s was the golden era of the heavyweights, but it was the golden era period. That's a great decade. Next to Esteban de Jesus. And look who he's fighting. Roberto Duran. Yeah. Esteban de Jesus versus Roberto Duran. Now they had a trilogy Esteban was the only man to beat Roberto at lightweight. Yeah, the only one to beat him at lightweight and the only one to beat him in the 70s. Esteban de Jesus. But Roberto avenged it 2 times over. Yeah. I think Roberto was like 71-1 in the 70s. His next loss was the rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay. And this was early in the 70s when Esteban beat him. Yep. Esteban de Jesus. He was a world lightweight champion boxer, a native of Puerto Rico. He was a gym mate of Wilfred Benitez and was trained by Benitez's father, Gregorio Benitez. And de Jesus, like I was saying, he was the first boxer to defeat Roberto Duran as a professional and the only fighter to defeat Duran at lightweight. Okay, only one. De Jesus is a former world lightweight champion, and he also held the Puerto Rican lightweight championship. Though not in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, de Jesus is in the now closed World Boxing Hall of Fame. And he compiled the record of 57 wins, 5 losses, 32 knockouts during his professional career. Speaking of Wilfred Benitez, there is Wilfred Benitez. He's Nate. Yep. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT in the building. Salute, Tim Layton. How are you today? Everybody ready for that big top-ranked card tonight? And Rafael Espinosa making his first title defense against Sergio Chirino. Rafael has a pretty good knockout rate, up in the 80s. 20 knockouts and 24 wins. Undefeated, too, I believe. Chirino, his opponent, has 1 loss. Chirino is from Mexico. And guess what? This is Chirino's first fight in the United States. Yeah. And getting a title shot. His 1 loss was to, I can't even remember who it was. But it was a champion. Yeah. Okay. But you had it written down. Let me see if I wrote that down. No. I did. 29 years old, though. Pretty good card, though. Abraham Nova, Andre Cortez is the co-main. We got a match. Troy Isley and Javier Martinez fought 4 times in the amateurs. And they didn't wait long to settle it, you know. Troy's in his 13th fight. Martinez in his 14th, and they're going to get it settled tonight. It was 2-2 in the amateurs, by the way, so it's the 5th and deciding fight tonight. I hope Keyshawn and Andy decide theirs fast, because Andy is 4-0, though. I hope they don't wait long to fight in the pros. I think Keyshawn and Andy will be a much bigger fight than Troy Isley and Javier Martinez. But that's tonight. Floyd Diaz on there. And a whole bunch of top ranks young fighters. Steven Navarro is making his 2nd fight. He was 1-0. And yeah, Floyd Diaz is going up against a veteran. Francisco Pedraza, a veteran of 31 fights. Be a stiff test for Floyd, but he should pass it. I think he'll pass it. But we're going to see tonight. Jorge Franks, hashtag JBT in the building. What's up, Jorge? All my friends are coming in now. We're talking about some of the great champions from the 70s. Let's get back to it. I think we're on Wilfredo Benitez. Right? Isn't that where I was at? That's where my place marker is at. And on Wilfredo Benitez. Now, Wilfredo, yeah, it is, on the right. And guess who he's fighting? Roberto Duran. We had Roberto Duran profile just now. See, there's Roberto. Esteban de Jesus with a profile. He's fighting Roberto, see? And now Wilfred fighting Roberto. Wilfred beat Roberto, by the way. He fought 3 of the 4 kings. He didn't fight Hagler, but he fought her and Sugar Ray and Roberto. Beat Roberto. Now, Wilfred Benitez is the youngest world champion in the history of professional boxing. He won the first of his 3 career world titles in separate weight classes at the age of 17. And like I told you in the beginning of the show, some of his high school classmates were at that fight. Okay? So he get to go to school the next day as the world heavyweight champion. Eat your heart out, captain of the football team. I'm the boxing world champion. What's bigger, captain of the high school football team or a world boxing champion? I would take world professional boxing champion, because guess what? The captain of the football team ain't making no money, but the world boxing champion getting the bag. Who knows? Nowadays, the captain of the high school football team might be getting paid by somebody. But yeah, officially, the world boxing champion is getting the bags. I would rather be him. But yeah, he was 17 years old when he won his first title. That's the record for all of boxing. He was known as a skilled and aggressive fighter with exceptional defensive abilities. Benitez fought 3 of the legendary 4 kings, like I was telling you, with a win over Roberto Duran, the Hands of Stone. But besides being the youngest champion in boxing history, okay, winning the junior welterweight title at 17, Benitez is also the youngest boxer to win the junior middleweight title at 22 years old. Okay, he was on my list when I did the youngest for each weight division. Remember, but Benitez compiled a professional record of 53 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, 31 knockouts during his illustrious career. When he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1996, first ballot. Wilfred Benitez. Next is the legendary Alexis Arguello. It is Alexis. I better be careful. Oh, Sir Layton. All right. Sir Tim Layton. That's what Horry got in there. Salute. I didn't know. Congratulations, Tim. You a knight or something? Sir Layton. Okay. Alexis Arguello. Put Alexis on. There's Alexis. Yeah. Alexis Arguello competed from 1968 to 1995, 27 years. There's something kind of weird going on here. I'll tell you in a minute. He was a 3-division world champion during his 27 years in professional boxing. Now, in his later career, he challenged twice for junior welterweight world titles, which would have been the 4th division he's conquered. Both times in famous legendary fights against Aaron Pryor the Hawk. Both times he came up short. Now, Arguello has regularly been cited as one of the greatest boxers of his era. He never lost any of his titles in the ring. Each time he vacated, moving up, going after a title at a higher weight class. Never lost a title in the ring. He fought 85 times as a professional, winning 77, losing 8 with 62 knockouts. Now here's what is weird. He fought till 1995. But everything I could find say he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1992. How can that be? I thought you had to be out about 5 years before you could go in the Hall of Fame. But everything I looked at, BoxRec, everything said he fought straight through till 1995. Then everything I could find on the Hall of Fame says he went in 1992. How can that be possible? You can be an active commentator or media and go in the Hall of Fame, but active boxers don't go in, do they? But apparently Arguello did. I looked at that for a while. I couldn't find anything different. Yeah. His last fight was in 95, but he went in the Hall of Fame in 92. That's weird. I couldn't figure it out. I tried. I thought maybe he retired, got put in the hall, and then came back. But no, he kept fighting. I don't get it. But he was in the Hall of Fame 3 years before he retired. Yep. So I give up. That's what it says. Okay. Next is next. Salvador Sanchez. Okay. Yeah, Salvador Sanchez. He's just, this guy here is just amazing. I told you about him when I did the profile on him. You know, he in the Hall of Fame, thought as one of the best featherweights of all time, one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. And he died in a car accident at 23 years old, never got anywhere near his prime. So wow, scary to think what he would have been if he would have had, an entire career. But Salvador Sanchez was the WBC and the ring featherweight champion from 1980 to 1982. Many of his contemporaries, as well as boxing writers, believe that had it not been for his premature death, Sanchez could have gone on to become the greatest featherweight of all time. Ain't no could have to it. Would have gone on to become the greatest featherweight of all time. Sanchez died on August 12, 1982 in a car accident while driving from Querétaro to San Luis Potosí. He had a total 46 total pro fights, winning 44 with just one loss and one draw, and 32 wins by knockout. And he was inducted posthumously into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991. Now just look at it. In the Hall of Fame, he's thought it was one of the best Mexican fighters ever and one of the greatest featherweights. And just fought till he was 23 years old. Of course, he started when he was like 15 or something, but still, nowhere near his prime. Just think if this man would have went through his prime on up into his 30s, what he would have been. It would be no kind of argument any other featherweight could make against being better than this man. None. Salvador Sanchez. That's crazy. To even think about it. Yep. Next is Wilfredo Gomez. And Wilfredo Gomez and Salvador Sanchez fought, I think it was 81. And that was thought to be the original beginning of the Mexican versus Puerto Rico rivalry, which Sanchez won. I think he stopped Gomez in the 8th round. Yeah, it was a pretty good fight up to that point, yeah. But yeah, they didn't talk about like a really Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry that much before that, but that was a big one then. That was probably the best, at that time, the best Mexican fighter, Sanchez, against the best Puerto Rican fighter, Gomez, at that point. Yeah. Wilfredo Gomez is frequently mentioned among the best Puerto Rican boxers of all time. His 17 consecutive knockouts in championship defenses is a junior featherweight boxing. Is a record for all boxing, not just all boxing divisions, not just junior featherweights. Because Joe Louis had 25 consecutive defenses, but he didn't knock out 17 in a row. He knocked out 23 of them, but it was a break in there. Didn't get up to 17 straight. So Wilfredo Gomez has 17 straight knockouts in title defenses. That's still the record. Probably will never be broken. 17 straight knockouts in title defense. Did it at featherweight. Junior featherweight. Record for all the boxing. And Gomez finished his career as a 3-division world champion, along with a professional record of 44 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 42 knockouts. Outstanding knockout rate of 95%. Okay? 42 knockouts and 44 wins. 95% knockout rate. That is not bad at all. I think he had like 30-something straight, but the first part of it wasn't in championship fight. Close to 30. I think it's like almost like the first 30 of his career was knockouts and stuff. Yeah. And then he had 17 of them straight in title defense, which is the record. That's amazing. Let's see, I told you about them 70s, man. You don't hear about this kind of stuff going on nowadays, man. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1995. First ballot Hall of Famer, Wilfredo Gomez. Yep. So 70s, I just try to make the point that they call it the golden era of heavyweight, but it was a golden era period, man. So none of these guys on this list are heavyweights, but listen to the accomplishments they made in the sport, man. This man, he had like 30-something knockouts to start his career, and then salute Miss Cass, hashtag JBT, and Al Booger, salute Al Booger. He had 30-something knockouts to start his career, and then he had like 17 straight in title defense. Probably, I know the 17 straight is a record. Yeah. Fredo Gomez, one of the greatest Puerto Rican boxers of all time, too. Up there with Carlos Durante, Hector Camacho, Felix Tito Trinidad, all them boys, man. He's up there with all of them. That's a good one's coming up now. Like Xander Zaya is coming too. And is Jesus Ramos Puerto Rican or Mexican? I'm not sure. But him, he's going to be another great one. No doubt. Yep. So let's move on a couple more. Just trying to show you some of the great fighters from the 70s that were not heavyweights. Golden era of boxing, not just a heavyweight, golden era of boxing, period. And what did I tell you? Wilfredo was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1995. Next is Bob Foster. He's a light heavyweight. There's Bob. He ducked, Mike Masick knows, he ducked, what's his name, Mike? Jimmy the Cat Dupree? Yeah, Bob Foster didn't want no part of Jimmy. Vacated his belt. Anytime somebody give him a belt not to fight somebody, that's a duck. And this guy, he was a great champion, International Boxing Hall of Famer, but he ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree. That was another one of those great profiles given to us by Mike Masick. Yeah. Bob definitely ducked Jimmy. I had it right there in black and white. I didn't know about it until after Mike gave me that profile, but yeah, right there. You ducked him, Bob. Sorry. Keep it 100 over here at Cass Sports. Bob Foster ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree. Now, Bob Foster is widely thought of as one of the top 5 light heavyweights of all time, but he ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree. His power enabled him to be a legitimate contender at heavyweight, even as he ruled the light heavyweight division. He fought at heavyweight while he was still light heavyweight champion. But he ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree, though. Okay? And Foster won the undisputed light heavyweight crown in 1968. And he entered the 1970s as a dominant champion. But he ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree. He retired as reigning champion in 1974 with a professional record of 56 wins, 8 losses, 1 draw, 46 knockouts. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the inaugural class of 1990. But guess what? He ducked Jimmy the Cat Dupree. Okay, who's next? But Bob Foster was a great champion, all jokes aside. But he did duck Jimmy the Cat. Okay, who's next? Salute, Al Booger. What's happening? AB, good to see you today on this Friday. Boxing tonight, Miss Cass. Yup, on ESPN or Plus. Okay, who's next? Carlos Durante. Told you about them 70s, man. Carlos Durante. legendary. Look at it. That's him on the left. Yeah. There's Carlos. Now he's a Puerto Rican fighter. Bad man. Carlos Zarate is one of the greatest bantamweights of all time and one of the biggest punches pound for pound in history. Bantamweight, what is that, 118? Pound for pound. Punching just as hard as heavyweights and stuff, man. Yeah, Carlos Zarate. He had two, now check this out, listen carefully. This man had 2 knockout streaks of 20 or more fights during the 1970s. Like I was saying, Wilfredo Gomez got the record for 17 straight knockouts and title defenses. Carlos Zarate had 20 knockout streaks 2 separate times in his career. Knocked out 20 people straight 2 different times. That's what I'm saying about them 70s. You don't hear about that kind of stuff nowadays, man. Not even close. They don't even have 40 fights. He knocked out 20 straight people 2 separate times in his career. Carlos Zarate, okay, in the 70s. No other boxer in the sports history is known to have accomplished that feat. None of them. Especially not nowadays. And check this out. Zarate won his first 52 fights. Started out 52-0. Picking up the bantamweight title along the way. 52-0. That's when them 2 20 fight knockout streaks was in there. Crazy. He finished his career with a professional record of 66 wins, just 4 losses, 63 knockouts. And that is another 95% knockout rate. 95% knockout rate. So when Carlos was fighting, it was safe to bet on a knockout, okay? It just was. Because 66 fights, 66 wins, only 3 people went the distance. Think of that, man. 66 fights he won. He got 63 of them out of there, and a 95% knockout rate. Went into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1994. Carlos Zarate. Legendary stuff, man. I was telling you about these champions from the 70s. Legendary stuff. Remember I was telling you before the show, that's why I'm talking about them. Just unheard of. Knocked those 20 people straight, not once. That's an achievement just doing it once, knocking out 20 straight professional boxers once in your career. He did it twice. Carlos Zarate. And finally, Jose Napales. He was one of Customato's fighters. There's Jose. Yeah, that's Jose on the right. Yeah. One of Customato's boys. Okay. Jose Napales reigned almost continuously. Here's another one. Jose Napales reigned almost continuously as the undisputed welterweight champion for more than half a decade. Napales won the title from Curtis Coates in 1969, and he defeated the legendary Emil Griffith in his first defense. Now, he dropped the belt briefly in December 1970. However, he won it back 6 months later in 71 and went on to reign at 147 pounds until 1975. Now, he did lose once during that stretch, but that's when he went up to challenge the great Carlos Monzon, who we just did the profile on today. But then he went back down to lightweight. Welterweight, nobody could beat him then. Okay. He went nearly 5 years before losing at welterweight. Shouldn't have went up there messing with Carlos, Jose. Light welterweight was your place. You proved that. Yeah, Carlos. I don't know how that ended. If Carlos got him up out of there, but he beat him. And Jose had 88 total fights. He won 81, lost 7, had 54 knockouts, And he went into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in the inaugural year of 1990. That's it. The life and career of King Carlos Monzon, and a look at some of the legendary fighters from the decade of the 1970s. No other decade has ever been like that, before or after. The way these fighters move nowadays, we won't have another one like that. You ain't gonna never see nobody knock out 20 people straight twice in their career, never. You ain't gonna never see nobody knock out 17 straight people in title defenses, never. You're just not gonna see that anymore. You know? Just not. And the way these guys fight, 20 knockout streaks, straight knockout streaks, that's 40 fights. The way these guys move nowadays, it's hardly going to ever see somebody with a 40 fight career anymore. Not to knock them, just fact. You know, fighting once every year, once every 2 years. Just not going to happen. The 1970s, that was the period, the decade. But everybody ready for that big card tonight? Big top ranked card, the Bob Father. We got Just Do Boxing coming up in about 25 minutes. Friday night hangout tonight. UIOW, bring your own whatever. I'm not sure about the Angry White Man. Anybody know what time I know they came on last Friday at 7. I haven't heard anything. You got to let me know. I know we got Prison Talk Tommy out there dropping videos and stuff, telling his incredible story. Now a very successful personal trainer, first child on the way. And yeah, hashtag Let's Talk Scratching kicked off their second season this week. So we got that to look forward to again everyone. Finally. Yeah. Took a break on it. But we got to look forward to every Wednesday again. Good. And yeah, we just got everything here in the JBT. And don't forget the big drawing for the 55-inch color TV. Got to be a winner. Just send $10. That's all it takes. You don't have to have 4 or 5 chances, but it will enhance your chances. But hey, somebody with one ticket can be the winner just as well as somebody with 4 or 5. Okay? 55-inch color TV. The first big card you'll watch is at a big August 3rd card for LA with Bud Crawford. The first Saudi card of the United States will be the first big card you watch on that big 55-inch TV. Okay? I needed a new one, but it wouldn't look good if I would have won it. Might have been some mad people. He's a JVT treasurer. Now, how he win the TV? I would have been saying that if I was somebody and saw me win it. I'd be like, Cash cheated, man. He's a JVT treasurer. How he win it? I would have been mad. Cash Sports might not have made it out of that meet and greet. Suffer some bodily harm up there. My money in for the TV, and then he the treasurer, he gonna win it. Come on, man. So I didn't get in it. Yeah, but I wanted it. But I got 2, but they old. Yeah, but I'll be monetized soon. Is that $sign down there yet? No. I'm less than 100 hours. They'll be down in the corner. You know where they be at. Yeah. He got to like less than 100 and then just stopped. It was moving all this time steadily. Then I got over, got to get 3,000. I got over 2,900 and that then just stopped. Been on the same thing for like 3 days. People watching. I'm going to watch out. YouTube plays games. Sometimes they take your likes away. They take your subscribers. And now my watch hours been on the same thing since like Monday. And it used to go up like 10, 15, 20 a week. It varies, but now it's been stuck. But maybe all of a sudden it's just going to jump. Well, I didn't even hit. I put the Cash App for the raffle there and didn't hit enter. There it is. Yeah. Everybody ready for the weekend? You better get ready because it's here. We don't have no cards tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. But we got the big one tonight though. Rafael Espinoza and Sergio Chirino. We got a fight on the card with the two guys that fought 4-4. I mean 2-2. They fought 2 times in the amateurs, and now this is the 5th fight. That's Troy Isley and Javier Martinez. Yeah, they got 4 amateur fights. Ended at 2-2. Similar to Ryan and Devin. And now they're fighting tonight. Both undefeated. Good storyline for that one. That's next to the co-main. That's like the 3rd fight from the end. Floyd Diaz probably taking his toughest test against a veteran fighter with 31 fights. Francisco Pedraza. Oh man. And in the main, Rafael Espinoza and Sergio Chirino. I gotta see who beat him, man, because it's right on the tip of my tongue. Chirino got 1 loss. This is his first fight in the United States, by the way. And Espinoza is making his first title defense of his 126 belt. Then he took off Robisi. Was it earlier this year? I wanted to see him and Robisi fight again because it was a very good fight. I thought Robisi deserved a rematch. They don't do that anymore, man. I know I keep talking about back in the days, but it was so good back then, man. Always gave the champion was nice enough to give you a shot. You always gave him a rematch, man, but 95% of the time. And then a good competitive fight like that one was, you know the fans want to see it again. Because back in them days, the challenger that wanted to prove it wasn't no fluke. Like, yeah, I took your belt and I'll beat you again in the rematch to show you I'm better than you. And the champion would be like, that was a fluke. Give me my rematch. But nowadays, guys just don't care, man. Just don't care. Like I said, they call each other out of their names and they just say, okay, yeah, I'm that. You know? Challenge them and just don't care. Tiptoeing around scared of each other's shadows and stuff. I don't say scared, but, you know, I don't know why these guys won't fight like boxing's supposed to be, man. The business got a lot to do with it, too. You got to consider that, you know. And the business side is more enhanced. How am I trying to say it? Bigger nowadays, more visible nowadays, you know. Like back then, they just fought. Okay. People wanted to be the best. And you didn't have 15 champions in each division either. The sport's been very watered down. Very watered down. You know, the more belts and stuff you make, yeah, the less talented the champions are going to be. I mean, you come in the ring, nowadays, a guy in his 5th fight coming down the ring walk with 4 belts draped over his shoulder. How the hell you get 4 belts and you only fought 4 times? But I see that, man. Troy, what's the guy named Choo Choo? He had like 3 or 4 belts. How did Choo Choo get 4 belts? How many fights has he had? What belts are they? He stand up in the ring with all those belts. You haven't beat nobody? That's ridiculous, man. You know? It really is. But this boxing nowadays is very watered down. But it's the F sport. We love it, but we can complain about it. Oh, shoot. I have to put boxing back. Here we go. I'm going to find out who beat this guy, because I keep saying it. 22-1. I know who it is. It's on the tip of my tongue. It was fighting Rafael. I suppose those tonight he couldn't have beat him. Not yet. Mauricio Lara. Right, I knew it. Mauricio Lara is the only one that beat Sergio Chirino, the challenger for tonight. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Oh. Somebody knocking on the damn door. Who the hell is that? Miss Cass, can you get that? Oh, Lord. Must be back to sleep. Hold on. I hope that ain't who I think it is. Excuse me for a minute, please. Excuse me for a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm back. You using the ovens? The stove, the top. Yeah. Yeah. People came to do some work, but I'm back. Only got like 15 minutes to go. Okay. Yeah, Mauricio Lara was the one that beat him. Can't see the chat. I'm all messed up. But everybody ready for the weekend? Yeah, it's right here on us. It's a big top ranked card tonight. No fights tomorrow. Better be a fight somewhere. Ed McQueen would know it. Ant knows how to find it. Let's do boxing coming up in 15 minutes. Hope everybody enjoyed the show today. We still would have waited like 15 more minutes to come, but it's all good. JBT, Just Boxing Talk, y'all. Don't forget Monday, I have a special guest named William Old Schooler Rand. We are doing Max Baer profile. Anybody familiar with the Beverly Hillbillies? That was Jeff Rose's father, Max Baer. And his brother also boxed, buddy. Max killed a couple people in the ring. I mean, I don't mean to say it like they died after the fight. One died directly after a fight with him. The other one died after fighting somebody else, but it was related to Max. Max was heavy-handed. Yeah. I think his brother Buddy fought Joe Louis and Max Schmeling doing his career. Buddy. Yep. Friday is usually my best day. It's been the worst day this week. I was rolling all week. But everybody hit the appreciation button. I appreciate it. Carlos Monzon had a fight of life though, didn't he? The outside the ring part was the most enjoyable. For me. All those women he had. One of his girlfriends right here. And in this picture, she's 77 years old. Right here. One French lady. 77 years old in this picture. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, she was younger when Carlos dealt with her back in the 70s. I don't know when this was taken. The other one. Carlos had some women. Oh yeah, there's another one of them. See? Carlos was a player. Got mad at one of his women and threw her off the balcony and killed her. I don't understand how he, convicted murderer, get a furlough from prison to go home on the weekend, see his family. That's how he died. He was on the way back to the prison from his weekend furlough, had a car accident and died. Yeah. He got 11 years. Because remember the lady that killed Tyrone Everett in the Wednesday profile, she got 5. I don't know what she got. She served 5. And Carlos got 11. Damn. That's light. There's a lot of people sitting up in prison with 2 and 3 life terms, which they was where they was at. Damn, when they did their killing. But yeah. And he, the paparazzi always follows him. I thought that was the paparazzi knocking on the door just now. Told you they camped out there waiting for me to come out. But yeah, he beat up a couple paparazzi, hospitalized them. Yeah, Carlos was a bad man. Yeah. But it's Friday. I'll be back Monday. Just Do Boxing will be on in 10 minutes. The Friday night hangout will be on at 8. I'm not sure about Angry White Men tonight. Okay? I'm not sure. But we'll see. I'm getting ready to get out of here because I got some people here doing some work now. But Just Do Boxing coming up in 10 minutes. Okay? Let me get my Miss Cass, hashtag JBT. Al Booger. Corey Fanks, hashtag JBT. Tim Layton, hashtag JBT. Ray Patts, straight out of New Jersey. Appreciate your RP. Lonnie Lee, hashtag JBT. Let's Talk Fashion, aka Remo, hashtag JBT. D for the win. Melanin Queen 27. Real Prison Talk with Tommy. Just Do Boxing. Thomas Hill, hashtag JBT. Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz and more. J Hardcore, hashtag JBT. And Mike Mazik. Salute, Mike. All right. I'll be back Monday. Me and William Old School Rant is doing the Max Bayer profile. Don't miss that. The Old School probably going to be angry about something. All right. But everybody have a great weekend. Just Do Boxing straight ahead. Gas Sports. Appreciate everybody. Okay.